We wanted to know what Canadians think should be priority for the new government. So we took to the streets of Vancouver to find out.
The homeless population, one, primarily because a lot of them are suffering from mental illness and not just drug addiction. Obviously, one leads to the other in this case. There's a lot of really sad cases, and we're just turning our backs.
Supportive housing, effective mental health treatment, and more equality in income distribution in the country.
Economic growth.
Okay. What makes you say that?
I think it affects actually our daily lives for everyone, and also in comparison to the States where the economy has been growing so fast. And I think Canada should be just catching up, and the Canadian dollar has been dropping.
Pension would be nice, yes, and help like I said, the lower class people, would be nice. That's about it that I know, like I can remember of right now.
British Columbia is a province of incredible beauty, and the province's First Nations want to keep it that way. That's the message Chief James Delorme of the Klahoose First Nation is bringing to this year's summit. Delorme wants to ensure his people are an equal partner at the table in the province.
It means equality. Now, you've heard a lot of speakers today, and that's the messages you heard today were all the same message that was leading towards reconciliation.
Roy Henry Vickers is one of Canada's best-known artists and authors. He's here at the festival, and a lot of elementary school children have come from across the city just to meet him. At 70, Vickers has received his share of accolades, including the Order of Canada, the Order of BC, and an honorary doctorate from York University. But all of these awards did not come without sacrifice and challenge.
I was an addict for many years. I used alcohol. I was a workaholic. And the only thing that saved me through my addiction, the only reason I'm alive talking to you, is because of my art.
Vickers is spending his time at the festival mentoring other writers and young kids, something he says also helped him succeed.
I had a lot of wonderful mentors who helped me to see the truths in life, that we actually are beautiful people. I had one mentor who helped me to look in the mirror and say, I love you, to that man in the mirror. I couldn't do it for most of my life. So I think they help shape who I am, and I'm always growing and learning every day. Today I just learned something from a teacher that I talked to 30 years ago, 22 years ago. So I think it's mentorship from other people.
As an accomplished author, speaker, artist, and chief, Vickers wants to pass on what he has learned to others. Suzanne Rushton is passionate about photography and tourism in Vancouver, and she's combining the two passions to create a next-generation type of tourism experience. Photo Walks is one of a number of new adventures that are offering younger tourists an active, hands-on adventure.
It really brings people closer to the subject. So one of my favorite things to talk about with Photo Walks is once you've experienced something, that changes how you capture it and how you remember it. And when you fully immerse yourself in the city and the environment, then you can relive those experiences over and over.
Rushton hopes these new tours will attract a new generation of tourists, the millennials. One such tourist is Christine Herman. She represents this new generation of tourists.
I came to Canada last year and I traveled around for a couple of months from the East Coast to the West Coast, and I just loved it most here in Vancouver and in BC, so I wanted to come back, and now I'm here and I'm loving it again.
Herman came to Canada excited and got to experience Vancouver from a different point of view. She loved it enough to stay in Vancouver longer and now works with Photo Walks herself. Rushton believes millennial tourists want to experience the places that they visit. They want to do more than be driven around for a sightseeing tour, and Herman agrees.
You get to see an area of the city that maybe you haven't seen before, And of course, you learn how to use your camera. A lot of people have these big cameras they carry around with them all the time, but they don't know how to use them. It's not just that someone tells you what to do. You try different things and you see the result right away.
So as we move more from learning to experiencing, you may see more learning adventures like photo walks popping up in your city.
Arnold Gerald Bryan was born on September 29, 1918, on a ranch in Alberta. For the first portion of his life, Arnie was a cowboy.
Well, up till I was 21 years old, my transportation was horseback. But the closest town was 65 miles away. By a team and wagon, 3.5 days travel. You got up at 5 o'clock in the morning in the summer, and you rounded up the horses and cows. We had prayer and Bible reading every morning.
Life was hard on the ranch, and many difficulties were faced.
For 3 years, we had dust storms and no crops. Dust storms were so dense that we had to light a kerosene lamp in the middle of the daytime inside the house. It was so dark.
Good afternoon, I'm David Matta.
And I'm Anissa Hetherington, and here are your news headlines.
A former UBC student has filed a human rights complaint alleging that the school put students in danger when it dragged its heels on multiple sexual assault complaints against a PhD candidate. Glynis Kirkmeyer says she wants the university's new sexual assault policy to ensure that victims of sexual violence are not re-traumatized. Those are your news headlines. I'm David Matta.
And I'm Anissa Hetherington.
Thanks for watching.
Bill Howell sees a crisis in mental health that is growing among Canadians. According to him, 1 in 5 Canadians suffers from mental health, and this number is expected to grow to 1 in 4 in approximately 10 years.
I would say information overload, stress to do more, pressure, time, challenges, financial stress, employment stress, uncertainty, economic pressures. So we make about 50,000 decisions every day.
Eileen Dooley leads a national charity that works with 16 national charities and was attending the conference. This is what she had to say.
So I think many employers are struggling with just the enormity of things that he talked about: productivity, presenteeism, absenteeism, how their employees are doing, and it's pretty overwhelming.
The link between chronic disease and mental health is also very strong.
Hydration, nutrition, and sleep. And we know that small steps can actually make a big difference.
Many youth on the streets struggle with mental illness. But is it the chicken or the egg that came first? Are they on the streets because they struggle with mental illness? Or did they start facing these issues because they are living on the streets? This is what Jessica Slater, Development Officer for Foundation and Corporate Giving at Covenant House in Vancouver, had to say.
Because of the instability or the unsafe environment that these kids have come from, that could be why they're struggling with mental health illnesses, and that's often the case. But then when youth are on the streets, life's no better. Mental health can spiral.
Vancouver's mild weather is what makes it the choice for more homeless people from across Canada. This is David Matta for Evolution 107.9 News. Noelle Asmar has had a very successful line of clothing and a Canadian brand that has been recognized around the world. But Asmar has never had an actual retail store.
It's our first flagship store, yes. We're a Canadian company. We outfitted the Canadian equestrian team for the Olympics this summer. And yeah, we're really excited to be here.
Asmar chose the opening of the Tsawwassen Mills Mall to launch her first store, but says the line you will see there has already been around for 5 years. David Matta, Evolution 107.9 News.